I'm your girl Ariel, and welcome back to my channel. Before I get into this video, I want to provide my deepest condolences to everyone that was affected by the crash that happened on January 29th with the PSA aircraft and the Black Hawk helicopter. I felt as someone that started my YouTube showcasing my journey into joining a regional airline as a flight attendant and shed some light for some people on who PSA is and what regional airlines are. So with that, allow me to explain who PSA is. PSA is a company solely owned by American Airlines, so it is a subsidiary. However, the general public typically doesn't even realize that they're going to end up flying on a regional jet opposed to a mainline aircraft unless they look at the details of what aircraft is being flown, and most people honestly don't look at that, which is completely fine. The whole streamline of a regional to mainline process for the passenger is supposed to be seamless and unnoticeable. When you're flying on a regional jet, specifically at PSA, it is a CRJ, a Canadair regional jet, that holds no more than 90 passengers. There are other CRJs that hold less passengers. For instance, the one that was involved in the accident only carries 70 passengers. Other regional airlines, like the airline I worked for, also flew ERJs, Embraer regional jets, and those held more as well. You're not going to go to PSA.com and book a flight. Your flight will always be booked through American, however, it'll be operated by PSA. So think of a DBA, doing business as, that's essentially what regional airlines do. While PSA is a separate entity as far as hiring goes, the same requirements that American Airlines and all of the FAA require for their pilots and their flight attendants are still met by all of those standards. I can't stress it enough that regional airlines are an essential part of all the main airlines operating efficiently and to more people. The big thing about regional airlines and regional aircraft, such as the CRJ, is that it allows you to go into smaller airports with shorter runways that are in more rural areas. These flights simply help puddle jump in between larger bases for main lines. Regional airports allows people to be more connected, and it allows for even more flight attendants and pilots to be hired. On the pilot side, almost every pilot, unless they're possibly military or some other way of entering mainline as a pilot, then essentially almost every pilot will go through a regional airline. Now for flight attendants, it's not necessarily that way. A lot of flight attendants do start at regionals, as I did, and then we work our way up to a mainline, but flight attendants are able to start their career in a mainline. When I say mainline, there is the big three. There's Delta, American, United, who all have regionals under them. American has American Eagle, Delta has Delta Connection, United has United Express. All three major airlines have regional airlines that operate under them that take care of shorter routes on smaller aircrafts. The ERJs that I mentioned before are operated by SkyWest, who actually takes care of operations under the entire big three, Delta, American, United, plus Alaska. American Airlines doesn't only operate trips through PSA, they also operate through SkyWest, as I just mentioned, Mesa, Republic, and Air Wisconsin. Delta Connection owns Endeavor solely, similarly to how American owns PSA solely. And again, as mentioned before, Delta Connection also operates within SkyWest. United Express owns GoJets, similarly to how PSA is owned by American, Endeavor is owned by Delta. Every single mainline US carrier has a regional carrier that you may not even realize that you have flown on already. All of this to say, regional airlines have always been around. They have always maintained the standards, the requirements, certifications, and licensing that every single airline that you are used to hearing of has. I wanted to do this video earlier, but I honestly couldn't. As I mentioned before, starting my career at a regional airline, having flown and worked on that aircraft, that exact same aircraft, too many times to count, this hit home for me extremely. I will include resources that crew members within the industry can speak with, as well as the American Airlines number for people affected by this crash. For anyone interested in coming into the industry that has watched my videos, and so that's why they have found me, I do want to say I don't want this to discourage you from joining the industry. I understand this is a very scary event, but it's also extremely rare. I've been through 2 trainings, regional and mainline. My regional training was extremely rigorous, and we are prepared for so much through our training. Unfortunately, in this instance, there is absolutely nothing that our training could have done. For anyone that is not flight crew that is watching this, I stress you, please be mindful of your crew whenever you fly, as well as your fellow passengers, not just because of this event and not just this month or this year, but always. I have extreme love for the Sky fam. Thank you so much for growing this community with me since I was a regional flight attendant. And until next time.